You invested in Bitcoin very, very early. What was the first price that you bought Bitcoin for in, I think it was 2015?
Yes, it was in the summer of 2015. We got in at roughly $250. Today it's $104,000, I think, roughly. So we did get in very early. And we knew we were onto something, really, when people were making fun of us, saying, "Okay, that's a marketing trick. You're new to our business, and new to the new fund world, and you're trying to attract attention." And we were thinking, "Wow, they have no idea how much research we've done on this." And Art Laffer, my professor again from USC, we had him read our first white paper on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, could it serve the three roles of money? So means of exchange, what we use every day to buy things, store of value, like gold, and unit of account. Would prices be quoted in terms of Bitcoin? Chris Burniske was our first analyst on Bitcoin, wrote the paper, Art read it, and added to it enormously in terms of economic theory, which was great for us. And then he said to us, he said, "This is what I've been waiting for since the US closed the gold window in 1971. A rules-based global monetary system, like Bretton Woods under the gold exchange standard." And I said, "Art, that's a very big idea. How big is it?" And he said, "Well, how big is the monetary base of the US?" Back then it was $4.5 trillion, and Bitcoin's market cap or network value was $6 billion. And I said, "Okay, that's a very big idea." And we were trying to get it into our portfolios. Regulators were hesitant, but I bought it right then for myself and haven't sold it, and I'm very happy with it.
You bought it for yourself personally?
Personally, because
What
we
price?
couldn't buy it, $250. So we couldn't buy it back then, but we finally got through the regulatory process. And we were able to the New York Stock Exchange said, "Okay, you can put a 1% position in the portfolio." And it was of a grantor trust called GBTC. So we did, and we just never sold it. They didn't tell us we had to keep it at 1%. So,
Oh, it's risen to be more.
yes, it ballooned.
And what is it about Bitcoin that you believe was and is still a good investment opportunity for the average person?
Yes. So at this price, it's about a $2 trillion market cap. And so halfway to that original $4.5 trillion, but our price target actually has expanded since then, because it's not just a global monetary system. It is a new asset class. And that's a very big idea as well. What makes a new asset class? And we haven't had one truly since equities in the 1600s.
When you say a new asset class, you mean a completely new category of
Funding
asset.
companies, yes, right?
So an asset class would be something like technology is an asset class, right?
No, it would be like stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate. This is a new asset class, and most people will agree with that. We did a study on it. If this asset does not perform like other assets, in other words, it provides diversification for funds. And because it is behaving differently, institutions have to consider it because they're competing against each other. And if one puts it in, they all know they're competing against each other, so others have to consider it. And we believe that part of the opportunity has not been tapped. And just to put some numbers on this, right now, we're approaching 20 million Bitcoin outstanding.
Which means?
The number of Bitcoin that have been minted over time by Bitcoin miners.
So there's 21 million in total, right?
There will be, at the end of the minting process, 21 million. So we have only 1 million to go.
Yeah.
1 million would be, what is that? That would be $100 billion worth, a little more than that right now.
So just for someone that might not know much about Bitcoin, Bitcoin is mined using computers. And so far they've mined 20 million of them, and there's 1 million of them left to mine. Yeah.
So institutions really just started considering Bitcoin because the SEC gave the green light to Bitcoin with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF in January of last year. And it takes a while for institutions to do their research and commit. And so they're just now committing. And there's only $100 billion of new market cap that is going to be created, whereas they have trillions of dollars under management. And so we think there will be a lot of incremental demand. And to satisfy a lot of that demand, someone's going to have to sell.
Which means the price goes up.
Which, yeah, if people don't want to sell, because Bitcoin's been awfully good, and our forecast right now, it's right now the Bitcoin's around 105,000. Our forecast for 2030 is $1.5 million.